Rich Rodriguez is back at West Virginia, and this means the man in Morgantown understands what it means to be a West Virginia Mountaineer. This is an emergency Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Big 12. I'm Drake Toll from America's #1 Big 12 podcast, Locked On Big 12. Thank you for making this show your first listen every single day. Rich Rodriguez is back as the head coach at West Virginia, and though some outlets already say this is a bad move, I could not disagree more, and I will tell you exactly why. If you hit subscribe, I get to keep my job. West Virginia, if you are from there, if you are a fan, I have been to West Virginia and have understood one thing, that unless you have experienced it, unless you've experienced it for a long time, there is no way to truly understand the state, the culture, the university, and the absolute attachment this fan base has to its football program. We're talking about coal miner country. We're talking about pick yourself up by your bootstraps and dust yourself off when it's necessary. A kind of culture that doesn't work at Michigan. A kind of culture that doesn't work at Arizona. A kind of culture that only works at a place where the guy gets it. Rich Rodriguez gets it. This is as blue collar of a place that a head coach can go. It is somewhere where you have to have the blood that runs deep of a Mountaineer. That alone, I could understand immediately. Guess who is from Granttown, West Virginia? Guess who played football at West Virginia? Guess who started their coaching career at West Virginia? Guess who has the check of approval from legends of West Virginia? Rich Rodriguez. My biggest problem with Neal Brown his entire time as the head coach was I would watch the funny, funky music videos he did at Troy and then see him as the head coach of a university that represents something so much deeper than just college football. I grew up in Arkansas. I liken Arkansas to West Virginia in many ways. If we fielded a football team of just Arkansans every year, they wouldn't win a damn game. At West Virginia, it's the same thing. If you're losing your top 3 recruits to NC State, that doesn't sit right with those who live there. And if you only had West Virginia kids playing on your football team, you wouldn't win very many games. So you have to have a guy that can sit in a living room and convey what a university is. Did Rich Rodriguez betray the Mountaineer faithful when he left? No. For the same reason, listen to this, and this is different, but I do believe this sentiment is something that a lot of people could resonate with. When given a job opportunity a year ago for myself, post-graduation, I could have become a radio director in the state of Arkansas and gone back home, or I could have gone and worked traveling the road with the Savannah Bananas. I needed to go prove, at least for a little bit, hey, I can represent my home state on the largest scale, putting them further on my back and saying, look what we can do. Look what the people of Arkansas can do. Look what the people of West Virginia can do. Rich Rodriguez filled a role, filled a dream as the head coach there. It wasn't about the money when he went to Michigan. It was about the further exposure that he could bring to the state of West Virginia. That was, I can guarantee you, a part of this. And when he was the head coach of the Mountaineers, the guy won football games. I'm going to talk about it more at length tomorrow. But I heard some radio pundits say that this is a move that's going back, not going forward. I couldn't disagree more. It's funny to say that. It's poppy to say that. But I don't think that legitimizes this being a bad move. Going back to the legend, think about Bill Snyder at Kansas State. Snyder wins a lot at Kansas State, the first coach to actually do so, hangs it up for a couple of years, and then gets the call again. We need you back, coach. And while this is certainly different, and the time elapsed is much longer between gigs, Rich Rodriguez knows what it means to be from the state and knows how to win at West Virginia. And even more than that, guess what? He's been winning football games for the last good portion of years, 3 now at Jacksonville State, taking them from the FCS level to the FBS level and immediately going to 2 bowl games. From the ASUN Conference to Conference USA, winning. You know how tough that is to do? Do you understand how hard it is to bring a team? We have seen coaches bring a team from conference to conference, much less from one end of the division to the other. Struggle. Kyle Whittingham, ask him. Like Utah at 5-7. And now Rich Rodriguez, you wonder, does he still have it? We're going to a guy who's 61 years old. Does he still have it? What you need. Can I be honest with you? Can I be honest with you with something that is sad to say about Neal Brown, but I do think it's true? He was a car salesman. Nicest guy in the world. He meant well. Honest work, no doubt. Put food on the table for his family. But he was still a car salesman. He was trying to sell cars. Rich Rodriguez is not. He's a football coach. Neal Brown had the fun one-liners and trust the climb and here's what I need you guys to do and how we're going to buy it. And it was just never a representation of what that state is. Rich Rodriguez has that, as well as nearly 200 wins as a head coach in college football. Did he go to Michigan and fall flat on his face? Yes. Did he succeed overall at Arizona? No. He struggled mightily at the bigger level. At Arizona, he started hot. He ended okay. It didn't work out. If there is one place that I know at this level of college football that he's won and won consistently 3 straight 10-win seasons, a Sugar Bowl win, a Gator Bowl win, a Fiesta Bowl appearance, it is West Virginia. And the same man that did that is back. The same guy that instilled a winning culture, an annually elite culture, is back. And I do not think for a second there are many West Virginia fans who doubt. And guess what? I didn't grow up in that environment. I can't speak for everybody there. I can't say that, you're guaranteed you have to like this or you're not a fan. But I can tell you from my perspective, as someone who's been there, who's seen it, who's met the fans, who's interacted with the fan base, you need a representation of what you are. You don't need a head coach who doesn't get it. Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, Pat McAfee. I don't know the level at which Jimbo was involved in this, but I can tell you McAfee was very clear. I want Rich Rodriguez. Saban was very clear. I am interested in helping West Virginia make their next hire. And when that was the rhetoric, and the result is Rich Rodriguez being hired, a guy who was previously at Glenville State. Like I wrote this down, from Salem to Glenville State. That is, I thought, okay, yeah. A week ago when it was rumored, sure. But let's see how much we can... shoot. He is this state through and through. And if he's hired, that means that certainly Nick Saban, Pat McAfee had to have given the check mark. And when those two guys, considering their power in college football right now, their pedigree in college football, give you the okay, that's a pretty good spot to be in. Rich Rodriguez, that's not a traitor. I'm not a traitor for passing up a job that was back home. He's not. He did something that further legitimizes an entire state that is not often legitimized at the national level. I've seen it. And now he's back. And I think that is huge. It makes me happy for what Scott Frost is not from UCF. Can he win there? Sure. Can he go back and win there? Absolutely. But it's not like he was born and raised in Orlando. This guy was a hop, skip, and a jump from Morgantown. And now here he is. I think it's great. We talk about native sons that return. This truly is one of those situations. Rich Rodriguez, welcome home. Home. Welcome home. This is a Locked On Big 12, emergency Locked On Big 12. This has been and always will be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.